Hi, I'm Merrilyn Jaquiery and welcome back to Series 2 where I show you how to uplift and bring the feathers out that are on this little sparrow that we had in Series 1. So again, with the Prussian blue and the burnt umber, I pick out the feathers within here to lift them out. At the moment it's still not got its top colouring or in the shadows as yet, but I'll show you how to pick out the feathers that they come out and stand out. So just in the little dark areas here, I just begin to shape. Even if in a photograph you can't see them, sometimes you just know. I mean, after so many years of painting birds' feathers, I just know where they are. So in the shape of you know, where they come down on the breast and where they fold back underneath. So as you can see, I'm just picking out the areas which, in a very, very fine brush. This is a number 2. I don't usually paint with anything lower than that. I find sometimes if you have, or used to sort of thicker brushes, say maybe you've got a 3 or a 4, you can chisel them. You know, chiseling them is just putting them on the edge like that and then going from there. So at the moment I'm just bringing in exactly where these feathers are to lift them up. I love creating feathers. They don't have to be exactly, they need to be in the right order, but they don't have to be like your photograph. You can just look at that and just, as you can see, it's starting to come up. Now if they look a little bit too hard, what I generally do is when the wash comes across there, it'll just soften them down. That's one thing I can't really accept in a painting, is the hardness of paint being on. I like it to blend, I like it to be very soft, and that's probably why I work in this medium a little bit more than I do in acrylic. I've never worked in acrylic, but I love oils. With oils you can still get that strength and softness at the same time. You will see that I do have another video on a waterfall, which is on YouTube as well, and that is in the old master style of glazes, and also it's an oil actually that I love to paint that in that style. At the moment I'm also doing some paintings in the classical biblical, much like the old masters did with their little story, and it's something I'll bring to YouTube at a later date. But at the moment I just felt I really just would love to help people that know my work, that have seen my work, or that would love to paint feathers in a soft way, to help at this time, or to show you at this time. So as you can see, these feathers are starting to stand out, and as I just continue through, I just see where that little patch of shadow is, and I'll just fill it in just that little bit more. You see there's a lovely little feather coming in here, so I'm just going to bring that out. Also still using the Prussian blue, but less of it, more of the burnt umber, and just as I say, with the glass palette, it just brings it down to where I can actually just have that consistency, if you like, of watercolour that I actually am comfortable with. These are done fairly quickly. I normally, when I have done paintings in the past, have taken up to 3 months to finish a particular work, because all the detail that goes into the branch and things like that. Now I'll just swap from here to show you how I will bring out those feet. Now what I do is I work backwards with the feet, and what I mean by that is that over here I'll actually bring in the colour of the branch underneath rather than paint the feet themselves. So I'll fill in those areas of shadow, and of course I've had many years of practice doing feet, so this being a little sparrow. So once again you can see it coming in, and if it goes over the edge of your branch you can just also pop in that area. And later on I may probably put a wash on of the little pink feet that he has, so I'll either use just a light wash of vermilion or some other colour that is not too strong. See, now you can see how that's come over on that to show you just where the feet are without actually doing anything within the feet at the moment, because I like to sort of build up. And so this little one here, I'll do shadow because the branch comes underneath that, and here we can just basically, I'll bring that in there. Doesn't matter, you know, it's in the colour of maybe a drawing or a pencil like that, but look, honestly, when you put another colour on top with watercolour you can do that. So you see the little shadows here forming the little toes and claws. And the branch will run up underneath there, and of course we'll fill it in. There won't be that. Well, yeah, we've still got to do the tail yet. So it'll give you some idea. Now if you find those little edges quite hard, what I do is I just get some water on my brush in as well and just take off the top of them. Just shadow them. And I just work my way across, continuing to just do that. And I won't put on the shadow until I've actually got myself completely where I need that to stand out, the feathers to be darkened. So I'll just go and darken underneath those feathers just for a little bit more. Just in this area here where it meets the... And as you can see, that's starting to look really quite nice. Sometimes I find that I never have a lot of water on my brush. It's just something that I've been so used to painting with it not being wet on wet. I wouldn't call myself a watercolour painter in that I'm more into the fine art and producing this sort of dry brush technique really. I am a self-taught artist, so basically I've been painting ever since I was 23, and I'm now in my 60s, so with a lot of experience and also a lot of international recognition on the feather work. And if you go onto my website, www.wildlifeart.co.nz, you will see there's a lot of other paintings that I have done from these type of very fine art and watercolour to oils, and what's available in prints. The falcon in the last series 1 that I showed you was actually taken off a watercolour, but it was a print, so watercolours are the actual originals are a lot softer than prints. So what I'm just going to do here is I'm just going to darken this edge here down there, so it's a little bit more Prussian blue than there is burnt umber, and I just want to bring in where this is going to sit in there. As you can see, it's now starting to lift out, and also shaping the little feathers. Quite often I'd just bring in side brush marks to say, well, the feathers have gone over the darker bit. I love creating something. I just really feel, sometimes when you make marks, if we could say just bringing you down into this area, if I was going to be in here and I could just basically bring out a bit of shadow in the branch, or indentation, or even I could put in this area here a little bit of lichen. I just love creating. And I think, we as artists only copy, especially wildlife artists, copy really what God has actually created. So, it's just lovely to be able to start with a little eye and then a beak, and I have a book that I have on sale on my website that has been it talks about my wildlife journeys in Korea, and it comes into some of the pictures that I've done of endangered birds for World Wildlife Fund, and so it's well worth it. Won an award in America for inspiration, and it won. It was a finalist. It won a finalist award in America in the US Book Awards. So I encourage you to have a look at that. It encourages people. It's quite a laugh all the way through, as I've been chased by elk in Yellowstone Park, and my work is also seen in Jackson Hole, in one of the galleries in Jackson Hole. So been there for some 25 years, but anyway, as we carry on, I'll do a session 3, which will bring us across into some of the, as you can see now, it's starting to form. Beautiful little thing. Now, if I was just going to use here just any shadow area, because they're sparrows, they're a little grey, so I'm just going to use cerulean blue actually. A little bit of cerulean blue and bring it into, whoops. Just a little bit of colour, taking it away from, now there you are, there's beautiful little colour. You can hardly see it, but it's there. just taking it away from the pink and the brown. But as you can see, this little sparrow is forming quite beautifully. Now, because of my camera time for YouTube, I will end it here and pick up on the third session, which will take me to the left hand side of the picture, and we'll finish that, and then we can come forward. So what I do from here too is I just work back and I work back and I work more back into this little area here that I'm creating. Yes, this still has to be finished, but it's starting to stand out beautifully, and to bring in, you know, some of what I love to do is uplift little feathers that you like to kind of get underneath. So kind of these little feathers, the little neck feathers, you know, they literally just puff up, and they have line where they basically sit on top of another feather, and I just love creating in that place, very much like that.